And welcome again to another episode of Coull Discussions. This is Barry, I'm Chris, and today we are going to be talking about hockey, a little bit specifically about the All-Star Game. Now, this year was a very interesting year for hockey fans in the All-Star. First off, they went to a 3-on-3 team versus.
Yep.
By comparison, they normally go 5-on-5.
You know that they've been doing NHL overtime in 3-on-3 now, right?
Oh no, I didn't know.
I think that's where they got the whole concept first for the All-Star Game. Is that they went to 3-on-3. A long time ago, they changed it to a shootout at the end of a 4-on-4. They went 4-on-4. Then last year they tried in the AHL. They tried 3-on-3 overtime. Mm-hmm. This year they're trying the AHL. So that's where they got the idea, the format for the All-Star Game, pretty much.
Oh, okay. Now this one was also a what do you call it? Divisions?
Yeah, they were divisions. They played like a little tournament.
Yeah, a little tournament style. 3-on-3, different teams until the end, and 3-on-3. They, basically did a little mini playoffs, which were a huge departure from what they normally do. As well, this year, now, I don't follow, so this is from a completely outsider's view of everything that happened. They picked the people for the All-Star Game, and then they voted. Then the NHL had this vote about who the fans wanted to be the captain.
Well, what it was is that the NHL has a voting system for the All-Star Game.
Yeah.
And what it is you can pick any. They give you a list of players, which are their top tier players. Mm-hmm. Your Sidney Crosby's, your Evgeny Malkin's, your Jonathan Toews, stuff like that, Patrick Kane. And they give you the option to write in a person, right? And so this year, people decided to write in John Scott.
I heard of this. And now, I have never known how the system works. I've seen a couple of years ago, they did the little draft. They had all the players, and the captains were picked, and the captains went, I pick him. I've seen it done numerous ways for a long time. Never really cared, because it's always, for me, been about the competitions.
Yeah, like the Saturday night is probably, for me, the All-Star, that's the best.
Yeah, I enjoy that a lot. Like,
wow. This year was really good. I thought the overall weekend itself was really good. Now, what happened was the NHL fans, some group of fans decided, we're going to get John Scott.
This is the power of the internet.
Yes.
This is, for lack of a better way to put it, trolling at its best. John Scott was picked as a name for people to vote. I don't know how it was. You can explain, hold on. And people thought it would be a good idea to vote for him, and he got votes. And then it kind of became a viral sensation. Hey, look, this nobody. We should vote him in. And in a way, it became a bit of a joke.
So something's going to intertwine here. Sorry, for those of you who don't know who John Scott is, he used to play for the Arizona Coyotes. That's when this voting started. He played for the Arizona Coyotes. He was an enforcer guy. He was mainly out of the lineup. He'd hardly ever played. He's had like 3 goals his whole career, and that's kind of why people picked him.
Yeah, you could say the underdog.
Yeah.
For that matter, you could say the underdog. He was what people call an enforcer, and enforcers are just supposed to go on the ice and protect the big stars, make the hits.
They're dying out now in the NHL.
Yeah, they are.
Bit,
It used to be a much bigger position, but now not so much. So that's why he hasn't seen so many games. And then it exploded.
Obviously, it got really big because this guy here, again, not a sports fan, and
I heard of him. He was talked about in the news, he was talked about in the papers, and he was talked about at the water coolers. And this was a big thing because normally, if you get a vote, you pick a Sidney Crosby.
Did you know I don't think Sidney Crosby's ever been? I think he's been a 1 All-Star game.
Oh, really?
In his career, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I would assume that people would pick a Crosby.
You would think.
Yeah,
because he's the biggest name in the damn NHL, right? He's the face of the NHL. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. Don't you worry.
Okay, so, and then this guy, he makes it. He becomes what?
He was the captain.
He was the captain.
He got voted in as the captain of the Pacific Division. Now, this is where it kind of gets a little bit weird. Now, from the reports and all the understanding is that the NHL asked him, and with the Arizona Coyotes, they asked him not to go to the game.
Yeah.
Because they thought it would look bad. And then, what happens? He gets traded.
Yep.
He gets traded to the Montreal Canadiens.
and Montreal puts him into the minor leagues.
So now John Scott
He
can't go to the game.
Yeah, and also one of the rumors that I heard was that the NHL, when they approached him about not attending the All-Star game, they actually said, think about your kids, how they're going to see you as getting into the game.
Who cares?
Personally,
I'd be like, awesome.
I don't care. If somebody votes me into the
Yeah.
NHL All-Star game, I will put on skates, show up, go woo, and tell my kids I was in the NHL All-Star game.
I was an NHL
Who
All-Star.
cares?
Yeah.
Who
I
cares
was an
how I
NHL
got
All-Star,
it? Because, you know what, if you got voted in, it doesn't matter if people thought it was a joke or people were being serious or a combination of both.
Yeah.
They still voted for you. And you're in the NHL
So this
All-Star
is
game.
how I look at it. So you fast forward to the game. Now, number one, we've already got people who are not hockey fans talking about the NHL All-Star game.
Yeah.
Which before was just complete, to me, it was a complete waste of time. So you go to the weekend, John Scott decides he's going to go, and he's encouraged to go. So you go to the weekend, and you watch. Did you watch it? Oh, I guess you don't have cable, so you couldn't watch
I wasn't able to watch it. But
I watched it. I tuned in. But I always tune in because I'm a hockey fan. But I watched it. It was very interesting. The game happened.
I thought about it. For once, I actually thought about finding a way to watch it.
The game, you tune in, the game was really good. John Scott ended up scoring a couple goals and having a good time. It was really good for him to be there. His team won the tournament.
And he was voted MVP.
And he was voted MVP.
And being voted MVP is actually done by your peers.
Fans.
No, is it fans?
Yeah, it's the fans in the arena, I think,
Okay.
actually. It's only the fans in the arena. But even if it was voted by his peers, they would have picked it. Now, my opinion is this is the first time that the NHL All-Star Game, I think, was truly what it should be.
And that's actually what I heard from others, is that it was actually worth watching, it was entertaining, and...
The All-Star Game isn't... these guys who go to the All-Star Game, they've been getting accolades their whole life.
Yeah.
We finally saw a story come out of the NHL All-Star Game that meant something. That was, hey, John Scott's going to remember this for the rest of his life. This is his big moment.
It is
This
his
is
big
it.
moment.
This is it.
As good as it's ever
Yeah.
going to get for him.
And so it makes you go, get on people. And, get on people for... now, was it meant as a joke? Was it meant as a troll? Hey, we're going to troll the NHL and get this guy in here.
Now,
but I think
the NHL added the name because they didn't think it was going to be a big deal. The troll happened because people thought, hey, this would be funny.
people wrote it in, like a write-in ballot. At the bottom it says other, and you write the person's name in.
Oh, okay.
And people were like, we're going to pick John Scott.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I don't know how it started, but probably a few people went, we're going to do this trolling thing. And then they went, oh, let's see how big it can get. And then it just snowballed into this huge thing.
Yeah.
And it was I think overall, I think it came out. Obviously the story of them calling him and saying, what would your kids think? If that's true, we don't know if it's true.
Just a rumor.
But if that actually did happen, that's bad on the NHL. But
Yep.
I think overall it was good. I think it turned out well. He got himself a car. He won himself $100,000.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong. It made the All-Star Game interesting. It made people tune in. It made people talk about it. Mm-hmm. So, what could go wrong?
This was talked about a lot more than I've seen any other All-Star game talked about before. Normally sports stuff shows up in the sports section in the newspaper. Now, this story actually showed up outside of the sports section.
Front page almost. I don't know if it was front page, but it was...
No, but it was you open it up, flip a couple times, there's the whole side
It was
of
all
the
over
paper.
social media. It was all over
it was a
Facebook,
big
Twitter.
deal. So, did it work? If that's what their intent was.
So
yeah,
who trolled us? Who trolled us? Was it the fans that trolled the NHL, or did the NHL troll us fans?
Yeah, exactly. So who did it? But either way, it did something that...
It made a game that was meaningless have some meaning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was that was really interesting to watch. That was really fun to watch. And it was just good times. It was really good times.
Yeah, as I said, just from people generally talking about it, they enjoyed watching the show for a change. It was a good series, and the tournament style was a big deal for them. So, yeah,
Yeah, it was fun to watch. Now, this guy not knowing hockey very well, obviously he knows who Sidney Crosby is. The face of the NHL. Let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about the face of the NHL a little bit now. I think it's different, because obviously you see Oilers fan, a kid named Connor McDavid. You know who Connor McDavid is?
Oh.
How does he not know who Connor McDavid is?
Hey, in my defense, there's an Oilers fan where I work. He's never mentioned Connor McDavid.
Never mentioned Connor McDavid. How can he not?
So,
this kid is like unbelievable.
I will have to walk into work.
You need to YouTube just a highlight, just Connor McDavid highlights, and you'll see in 19 games this kid is amazing, absolutely amazing. I'm having a little love fest here because normally I don't believe
he had a love fest about Crosby too.
I did because I was like, oh, this guy's really good, and now I'm like, no, he plays for another team. Well, he's my Eastern favorite team. Really, that guy at work never mentioned Connor McDavid?
No, but you
you
know what?
probably don't talk about hockey, though, right?
I don't really talk. They talk about hockey in the lunchroom, and sometimes I listen to what's going on. But they start talking names, and I get lost really easily when it comes to names.
So, is this All-Star game? Is it going to make you tune into future hockey or watch, kind of follow it more, or anything like that?
See, not being a sports fan, no, not really. However, I might pay attention more during that time when they do the All-Star game.
Yeah.
I'm not going to watch... Okay, for hockey, I don't care about the season. I care about playoffs. I do have actually favorite teams that I do follow to make, near the end to see if they make it to the playoffs. I have teams that I cheer for in the playoffs. I kind of watch the NHL during the playoffs, but that's a general...
I think everybody watches.
Well, in Canada,
no,
they watch the NHL. No,
Canada is the world. What are you talking about?
Yeah, okay.
Come on. That's the best time of the year is playoff. Sorry, actually, you know what? I really don't know what real playoff hockey is like because my team's never been in the playoffs for 10 fucking years. Because we're a bunch of bottom-feeding idiots.
Yeah.
I live in Calgary. I'm an Oilers fan. Imagine how hard that is.
Oh, no. You know what was difficult? When Calgary made it to the playoffs, they had that really good run, and they made it to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Gross.
So anyways, Calgary had made it. I don't cheer for Calgary. I was cheering for San Jose. San Jose and Calgary met in one right before the Stanley Cup.
Oh, they did they?
Yeah.
Was it Calgary San Jose? I don't even remember.
Yeah, it was Calgary San Jose. This is why I remember. I was sitting in the bar where I worked after work watching the game, and San Jose scored, and I went, woo! Don't do that in a bar when the other team is playing.
Yeah, I trolled.
Everybody looked at me, and I was like, okay, I'm going to finish my drink.
I trolled my work pretty hard. I wore a Tampa Bay Lightning jersey there in the Stanley Cup Finals. Because I hate Calgary. I'm like...
I think both of us are of the sense of ABC, anybody but Calgary.
It's true. The notion of, hey, cheer for the Canadian team in the Cup Finals is totally out to lunch to me. How come I'm not cheering for Calgary? They're Canadian. I don't care. If you're an Edmonton fan and you even think of cheering for the Calgary Flames, get off.
That's
turn in your Oilers
true.
card. Tune it in and don't even just.
That is very true. It's very difficult to be to cheer for the
and
team.
Vice versa. If you're a Calgary fan and you cheer for Edmonton at any point.
For those of you who don't know these, Calgary and Edmonton are actually mortal enemies on the battlefield of sports. CFL, NHL, they have a very good rivalry that has been going on for... the Flames have only been around for like 40 years, something like that.
Oh, I don't even know.
Oilers have been around. They're actually one of the original 6. No, that's horrible.
No, they're not. The Oilers have only been around since 1979 in the NHL. They were in the WHA before. They've been around since
No, they weren't the original 6.
The original 6 was obviously Boston, Montreal, New York, Detroit.
Senators.
No.
What?
No, the Senators weren't. I can't remember the other two. How come I can't? Oh, the Maple Leafs?
Oh, yeah.
How could I forget about the center of the world? And there was one at Chicago. There's one other team. I can't quite remember because...
I used to know who the Six
and
were.
it's like...
Yeah, okay. But, anyways, the CFL, they've been going head-to-head against each other for an incredibly long time.
And in the CFL, we win. We won.
Yeah, they did. Not against the
Stampeders. We beat Calgary in the West Finals.
Yeah, exactly. So, no, it does. And then in the NHL, they've been hating each other for a long time. So
I'm going to say this right now. Okay? I'm going to put it on the interweb for everybody to see. As I'm an Oilers fan, living in Calgary, and I hear nothing but crap from Calgary fans. Guys, Edmonton will win a Stanley Cup before the Calgary Flames. Bookmark it.
Ooh.
They will. You don't want to know the one reason that they're... I thought this before this happened. The one reason now this will be for sure happen. Connor McDavid, ladies and gentlemen. That is the number one reason. I don't care what you say. You have nothing. Any Calgary fan watching this right now, you have nothing. You're Johnny Hockey Gaudreau, Sam Bennett, nothing. Okay? I am not somebody who believes hype. I'm like, okay, let's be... Even with Crosby, I was like, whoa. And maybe I'm a little jaded because he's on the Oilers, but this kid is already 3 steps ahead of 80% of the NHL, and he's only 19 years old.
Okay.
He is the real deal. If you do not like hockey...
So is Crosby.
Crosby's a great player. Don't get me wrong.
He is.
Crosby's amazing. But you have no idea. This McDavid, it was the worst thing that could have happened to the NHL when he got hurt. He broke his clavicle, his collarbone, and he was out for 3 months.
Oh, wow.
And the Edmonton Oilers were scheduled to play so many primetime games where they were on television because of this kid.
Oh.
So they were devastated. They put a whole marketing campaign around this guy. Rogers did and everything with him and Mark Messier. And now he's back, and it's like when you saw him in the first 13 games that he played, it was like, holy crap. Now he's back, and you're like, holy crap. This kid could win Rookie of the Year playing half the season. That's how good he is.
How many games do you have to play to be eligible?
I think it's like 13 or something like that.
Only 13 games?
Yeah, because I think...
So he's already done it?
Yeah, he's eligible.
Okay.
But he is so good that if he continues on the pace that he is right now, they'll have no choice but to consider him for the Rookie of the Year, regardless of how many games he's played. He's that good. So mark that. Mark that right here, guys. Edmonton will win a Stanley Cup before the Calgary Flames. Mark it. Guaranteed. Okay? Guaranteed. I said to this guy that I work with, I said that, what did I say, probably a year ago? I said, if the freaking Oilers don't win a cup in like 5 years, I'm like, I can't cheer for them anymore, right? I'm going to have to find a new damn team, right? As a joke, of course, I'm never going to give up on them. Mm-hmm. But now, I'm more confident than ever that this will happen, that they're going to win a Stanley Cup.
Edmonton fans are almost as rabid as Toronto fans.
No, I don't think so. I think it's so hard because we've been so bad for so long.
Trust me, hearing the guy at work talking about Edmonton, he's been doing it for 5 years now. It's like, oh yeah, we're aiming for last place so we get first draft pick. And it's like, then the year after that we'll be fine. Yeah. And that year happens. It's like, we're aiming for last place because we're trying to get that number 1 draft pick. And I heard that for like 3 years. And it's like, okay, so what now? It's like, oh yeah, my team just is not that.
And I think that's where Edmonton fans are right now. It's very hard to defend our team. It's very hard to.
It's always hard to stand up.
But I'm so sick of hearing people in Calgary put down the Oilers. Hey, Calgary, realize you're only 3 points ahead of us. You're just as bad.
Further to that matter, it's not like they've. It's not like Calgary really makes it into the playoffs.
Well, they made it last year.
Yeah,
which was a fluke. So then I said to Calgary fans last year, I said, okay, good on you. Do it again next year, because you're not. You're going to be where you're supposed to be. And somebody said it on the radio, it's like the Calgary Flames last year was your dating profile picture. Calgary Flames this year is what you actually look like. So guys, this is what the Calgary Flames look like. Yes, I know the Edmonton Oilers are bad, so I can't be throwing rocks in glass houses.
He's saying it, though.
They're horrible. They're the worst team that we've seen in the NHL for almost a decade now. This will be the 10th year that they haven't made the playoffs. The longest in the NHL.
Wait, what about Toronto?
They made the playoffs.
When?
The last time I remember was 2002. But we'll have...
That was 13 years ago.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, well then they've made it another time. Oh, no, they played Boston a couple of years back. Sorry, they played Boston.
Okay.
Where they choked and they were up 3-1 in the series or something. Toronto. But yeah, the Oilers will have the longest streak not in the playoffs of 10 years after this year. Like, I'm admitting we're bad.
By Canadian team standards, or just
all the NHL?
By all the NHL.
Florida had it, but they made the playoffs last year, so no.
Ooh.
But there's way better times for the Oilers now. We've got a good GM, we've got a good coach.
They have actually gotten rid of a lot
of people.
It is
February 13th, 2016 at 9:02 a.m., Calgary, Alberta. The Edmonton Oilers will win the Stanley Cup before the Calgary Flames. Mark it.
Okay, and on that note, follow us on Facebook and like us on YouTube.
Subscribe on YouTube.
Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe on
Throw
iTunes.
the hate bombs at me right now, Calgary fans.
Yeah.
Throw them. I'm ready. I'm ready. Because all I got to say, Connor McDavid. Boom. Boom. We win. Boom. Watch it. See you later.
Bye.